You're going to see a crypto rally into the end of the year, and it really does help to see JP Morgan say they're open to the idea of using crypto as collateral.
Other cryptos, including XRP, have a use case, a legitimate use case. I think XRP's is a wonderful working model. I think that it's only going to get better. They made an acquisition.
It's your host, Rich, and I'm pumped to dive into another XRP update with you today. I hope you're crushing it wherever you are in this amazing world of ours. So let's jump right into what XRP's been up to, shall we? Take a look at this one-day chart with me. We're sitting pretty at $2.59, and guess what? We're up another solid 3.62% today. That's right, folks. XRP just keeps painting those beautiful green candles for us. Now, I know some of you are getting a little antsy in the comments, saying XRP's moving too slow for your liking. But here's the thing, and this is where perspective becomes everything. If we could time travel back to 2022, we were literally watching XRP crawl up by half a penny over 3 whole days. So when I see XRP moving by dimes now, as a long-term XRP investor, I'm absolutely here for it. This is the kind of steady, healthy growth that builds real wealth, my friends. Massive 111,000 mark. Pretty impressive, right? But here's the kicker. It's only up about 0.5% today. Meanwhile, our beloved XRP, it's absolutely crushing it and still outperforming both Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's what I love to see, folks. XRP showing everyone how it's done in this market now. And you know what? People are finally starting to wake up and take notice. I have a feeling this momentum is just getting started. But here's what I'm really excited about. Just wait until those XRP ETFs go live. I'm telling you, I can barely contain my excitement because that's going to be our crystal ball moment. We'll get such a clear picture of where XRP is headed in this bull run. Now, I keep hearing everyone throwing around that magical $50 plus target, and honestly, I'm right there with them. But between you and me, I still think XRP could absolutely blow past that number and go much, much higher. The potential here is just incredible. The traditional 4-year cycle, some people are saying this bull market is already over. I keep seeing all these technical analysis gurus throwing in the towel, telling everyone pack it up, see you in 2028. But hold up a second. This cycle hasn't even begun for altcoins yet. Think about it, folks. Here's my take on what really happened. XRP and a bunch of other utility-driven cryptocurrencies were just making a quick correction once we got that new administration settled in Washington. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But the real breakout? Oh man, it's still loading up like a rocket on the launch pad. And when it finally takes off, and trust me, it will, it's going to leave so many people in the dust wondering what just happened. Here's the thing about XRP that most people don't realize. When it decides to move, it moves fast. Lightning fast. Right now, it feels like everybody's just sleeping on crypto. But mark my words, those exact same people are going to be scrambling to FOMO in once this thing starts breaking out. Don't be one of them. ... And he makes a really solid point here. You know what's funny? If these crypto writers actually did their homework, which, let's be honest, most of them probably don't, they'd understand the basic fundamentals of how XRP's escrow system works and those monthly release programs. Here's what's happening. Ripple is set to unlock 1 billion XRP on November 1st. Now, before anyone starts panicking in the comments, ... All knew this was coming, right? This happens like clockwork every single month. And here's what's going to happen next. You'll watch Ripple turn around and lock back up about 700 to 800 million of that XRP. It's the same story, month after month after month. This routine has been going on for years now, but somehow, and this just blows my mind, every single month we get hit with the same old FUD like it's breaking news. I swear, it's so predictable at this point. You could literally set your calendar and know that on November 1st, everyone's going to be spreading fear about XRP again. It's like watching the same movie over and over. Folks, XRP has become a genuine strategic asset, and here's proof of that. What Ripple's doing right now is brilliant. They're ramping up their game to connect with major corporate players and institutional partners through these tokenized equity deals. It's like they're saying, hey, we believe in XRP so much that we'll literally trade it for shares in your company. Take Evernorth, for example. Ripple is strengthening that relationship by converting their XRP directly into company shares. But here's the genius part. While they're building these partnerships, they're also pulling XRP out of circulation. Less supply floating around could mean big things for long-term value. Pretty smart, right? Now, this isn't Ripple's first rodeo with this strategy. They've been playing this game before with investments and acquisitions. Remember their stake in Tranglo and those other fintech projects that are supercharging the XRP ledger for cross-border payments? And get this, Ripple's chairman is so confident in this move that he personally pledged 50 million XRP as his own investment in Evernorth. When the leadership puts their money where their mouth is, that's when you know they're serious. Comments absolutely losing their minds about Chris Larsen giving that XRP to Evernorth. They're out there screaming, "He's dumping on us. He's betraying the XRP community." But here's what they're completely missing, and this is so important. Everything Ripple does is strategically designed to add more utility and more value to XRP. It's not about dumping, it's about building. The good news? Some people are finally starting to connect the dots and see what's really happening behind the scenes. They're getting it. But then you've got this other group who just wants to stay angry and keep fighting about every single move in this cryptocurrency space. And you know what's going to happen to those people? Once XRP finally breaks out and starts its real run, you'll never hear from them again. They'll either quietly disappear or suddenly become the biggest XRP cheerleaders like they supported it all along. It happens every cycle. Officially crypto rally time, people. Tom Lee just dropped some serious predictions, and he's saying we're about to see a massive crypto rally that's going to carry us straight through to the end of the year. This is the kind of news that gets me pumped up. Let's hear what he has to say about this.
It really does help to see JP Morgan say they're open to the idea of using crypto as collateral. We're 10 weeks before the end of the year and the S&P's at 6,800. I think it's still a base case then for people to say that in just a typical year, the S&P should gain another 4%. That would put us over 7,000 into the end of the year. And I think that that's sort of the minimum. But because we've got the Fed cutting, and they started in September, they've been on pause all year. That only happened twice in the last 50 years, which is 1998 and 2024. I actually think the S&P, given the skepticism that's been plaguing this market all year, we could do far better than 4%, maybe even 10% into year end.
Wow. Okay, so where does crypto fit in, especially when you're looking at how those currencies are moving versus what's happening with tariff concerns, global trade concerns, et cetera?
Crypto had a huge deleveraging event on October 10th, and part of that was triggered by the escalating tensions with U.S. and China on tariffs and trade. And that was the biggest liquidation event in 5 years for crypto. So there is still those ripple effects, 2 weeks later that are plaguing the crypto market. But I think we're almost through that because a measure like something called open interest for both Ethereum and Bitcoin are at record lows at a time when the technicals for both Bitcoin and Ethereum are flipping positive. So I think you're going to see a crypto rally into the end of the year. And it really does help to see JP Morgan say they're open to the idea of using crypto as collateral.
Rally once the Fed decides to cut rates again. And guess what? That's happening this week, folks. This could be the catalyst that really gets this market fired up and moving in a big way. But honestly, even beyond that immediate boost, I'm still incredibly bullish about how 2025 is going to wrap up. We could be looking at an absolutely explosive end to the year. Almost completed this crucial 4-hour structure, and we've been tracking this with pinpoint accuracy on the dark side analysis. I'm excited to share this 3-day time frame update with you guys. Remember when we called out $2.22 as that critical final frontier? Well, guess what happened? XRP bounced perfectly right off that level. Here's something really interesting. The RSI is sitting at the exact same level it was back in November of last year. That's giving us some serious deja vu vibes. Right now, we can expect XRP to keep moving inside this triangle formation. But here's where it gets really exciting. Once XRP breaks through that orange resistance line, everyone is going to flip bullish in a heartbeat. It's going to be like a light switch moment. We're constantly updating all our charts except for this key one below, and here's what we're watching. Resistance levels are sitting at $2.85 and $5.85, while our support has now solidified at that $2.22 level. The setup is looking absolutely beautiful, folks. Looking at a major upward explosion once we punch through that orange resistance line right there. And you know what? That's exactly what everyone in the crypto space is calling for right now. The consensus seems to be that this recent crash we just witnessed, that wasn't a bad thing. It was actually the perfect setup. People are saying it was like the market taking a deep breath before the real fireworks begin. It's go time, folks. The stage is set, the pieces are in place, and now we just need to see XRP make that crucial break above resistance. This is where it gets really exciting. Let's buckle up and see what happens next. Everyone's got their eyes glued to Bitcoin. XRP's chart just quietly completed the right shoulder of what looks like a textbook setup. This is the exact same pattern we've seen before, every single historic breakout. But here's the thing. Most people won't even notice it until XRP is already shooting straight up like a rocket. That's why I always say, watch the chart. Don't chase the news. Like I mentioned earlier, everyone's calling for this breakout now. And when it finally kicks off, oh man, it's going to be absolutely wild in the crypto space. The euphoria is going to be off the charts. You know what's going to happen next? People who've never touched crypto before are going to start asking you those classic questions. Am I too late to get in now? And you'll be sitting there watching these massive green candles light up the XRP chart. Here's the ironic part that drives me crazy. Everyone had the exact same opportunity to accumulate XRP when it was cheap. But what did most people do? Oh no, crypto's crashing. I don't want to buy now. I'll just wait and see what happens next. Sound familiar? Then bam! Before you know it, everyone's euphoric and suddenly everyone has to have crypto immediately. It's like clockwork. We're about to see this whole cycle play out again, folks. The FOMO is going to be absolutely unreal, and I'm predicting we'll see tons of fresh faces flooding into this space over the next few months. Get ready for the ride. Utility will win. Failure is not an option. These people and companies, I see something really special. These are the true early investors, folks. Think about it. These weren't the people sitting on the sidelines waiting for perfect regulations to come along. Nope. They said, we want to get ahead of our competition, and we want to position ourselves perfectly in this space right now. But here's what's coming next, and this is where it gets really interesting. You're going to see another wave of what I call the laggards, companies that finally decide to jump in because they don't want to be left behind. And then you'll get that final massive wave once crypto regulations are crystal clear. Because let's face it, nobody wants to be the very first one to dive in. But once that floodgate opens, it happens lightning fast. Here's the reality check. We're still just seeing the early signs of institutional adoption. We've got a long runway ahead of us still. But you'll know we've hit the real adoption phase when you start seeing store after store, business after business announcing they're accepting crypto payments. That's when you'll look around and think, wow, this is actually happening everywhere. We're not there yet, but man, we're getting close. But here's something that should get you excited. According to Kucrium's CEO, Ripple is literally building the new Wall Street using XRP and Hidden Road. Think about that for a second. We could be witnessing the foundation of an entirely new financial system being built right before our eyes. That's what Ripple is doing right now. Take a listen.
Other cryptos, including XRP, have a use case, a legitimate use case. I think XRP's is a wonderful working model. I think that it's only going to get better. They made an acquisition today where I believe they bought a prime broker, and that's really big news because that means there'll be almost instantaneous settlement across all asset classes inside that prime broker. It'll be a wonderful start to the new Wall Street, that's based on blockchain that moves really quickly. No more 3 days for wire transfers. We're gonna have instant money, and that's good.
Yeah, and I mean, who wants to sit around waiting 3 whole days for a transaction to clear anymore? That's like internet dial-up speed in 2025. Ripple Prime is going to be absolutely massive, folks. And here's the best part. It's going to bring a ton of incredible value to XRP as this whole thing unfolds. We're talking about a complete game changer here. And here's what cracks me up. People act like massive changes happen overnight. Like everything should just snap and be done in a single day. But that's not how real, lasting change works. It takes time to build something incredible. And then, BAM. One day you wake up and suddenly realize just how absolutely massive something has become. Speaking of massive moves, check this out. We're looking at XRP potentially rallying all the way to $3.45 after Ripple's CEO basically told investors to lock in their positions. And here's what's really exciting. XRP is eyeing a major breakout toward that $3 to $3.45 range. What's driving this? We've got rock-solid technical support combined with Ripple's aggressive institutional expansion that's fueling some seriously renewed bullish momentum. This is the kind of setup that makes my trader heart sing, folks. Quote, lock in. Man, I think that single message just electrified this entire space. Everyone suddenly switched into that mindset of, all right, it's time to lock in. It's go time. The internet of value is coming, and we better get ready for what's about to unfold. And as XRP holders, this is exactly what we're going to witness, folks. Here's what I keep telling people. Once this breakout finally begins, it's going to be lightning fast. I'm talking blink and you'll miss it quick. It's going to catch absolutely everyone off guard and happen at the moment when people least expect it. Picture this. You're going to wake up one morning, check your phone, and be like, what the heck is happening with XRP? And then it's going to hit you. This is it. It's finally happening. Over the next few weeks, you're going to see people everywhere talking about their portfolios, sharing screenshots, and probably kicking themselves for not loading up more when they had the chance. Get ready, because this ride is about to get wild. Tell people, get your sleep now, because trust me, you're going to need it. You'll find yourself obsessively checking your portfolio every hour, morning, noon, and night. You'll be pacing around your house thinking, what is happening right now? Where is XRP's ceiling going to be? It's going to be absolutely mind-blowing to watch unfold. Here's my take on the numbers. 1,000 XRP in this run? I think we're looking at around 50 grand in value, and that's me being conservative. Some people are throwing around $100 XRP targets, which would make 1,000 XRP worth 100 grand. Bottom line, everyone holding XRP is going to walk away with life-changing money in this run. There's literally nothing standing in this cryptocurrency's way anymore. I've been hammering this point for months now. Back in 2021, we had that massive anchor weighing us down. The Ripple versus SEC case. Plus, most exchanges had delisted XRP. Even with all that working against us, we still hit $1.92. People were absolutely stunned. I remember everyone saying, it won't even break $1 with all this legal drama. And XRP still managed to shock everyone. But this time around, it's nothing but pure catalysts and clear skies ahead for this cryptocurrency. So until this rocket takes off, stay patient, stay positive, and let's build wealth together. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. You all are absolutely amazing, and I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. I'll catch you in the next one. Have an incredible night.